Reggie Simmons here. I've been asked to provide a little bit of insight into how a fit person can determine whether they are fit or not. And I think this question really originates from folks that have gone to the doctor and received those body mass index sheets and are being told that they're actually overweight and obese because of their height and their weight. The reality is that you can't just look at height and weight to determine whether someone is actually fit or not fit. I think that you have to look at multiple variables to be able to determine that. Certainly you can look at the scale and calculate, if your weight is increasing or decreasing, but that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. The reason for that is because if you are building muscle because you're engaging in resistance training, your weight will go up, right? Because muscle is being produced and muscle is being grown and added to the frame. That's why your weight is going up. So simply using the scale isn't necessarily the answer because the numbers might not go in the direction that you want them to go in. Certainly you can take measurements, but measurements may or may not tell you the whole story. The reason for that is because if you have a pound of fat and a pound of muscle, they essentially weigh the same thing, right? They weigh a pound each. The difference, however, is that a pound of fat will take up a lot more room in your body than a pound of muscle. It's almost like two softballs to a single softball. There's a huge difference in the size that they take up. So if you're using measurements and you're losing fat, then your numbers will go down. But if you reach a state where your body fat is relatively low and you're adding muscle, then the numbers shown on the measuring tape may go in the upward direction. So again, even taking measurements doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. Certainly you can take progress pictures, being able to compare your body from 6 months ago to now or a year from now. That'll also tell you part of the story. But whether you're doing a weight, whether you're doing measurements, or whether you're doing progress pictures, again, all of these things only tell you part of the story, which is why it's important that you do all three to be able to determine whether you're progressing in the right direction. One of the other things that I always recommend to people is that they have their blood work performed. So looking at your testosterone levels and your hormone levels is important. Understanding your cholesterol levels, your LDH, your HDL, your triglycerides, those are also important factors to determine whether you are healthy or not. So there are just a couple of things that you can do to determine whether you are indeed fit. There isn't just one thing that you should be doing. I think that there are a number of things that you should be looking at to determine whether you are indeed healthy. Hopefully this video helps.